Hi children, good afternoon. I think in the last class we have studied about suspension, colloid, their properties, right? So now we'll be moving on with separating the components of mixture. So how we have to separate the mixtures from heterogeneous mixtures? Usually, in heterogeneous mixtures, we are separating it by physical methods called hand picking, sieving, right? Now we'll be seeing it further. All right. That first one is how can we obtain how can we obtain colored component colored component from blue or black ink. Actually, it's saying here is our blue or black color ink mixed or is it pure? So that we'll be seeing. First, what we'll do? We'll take a beaker and we'll fill that beaker with half water. We'll fill half a beaker with water. So what we'll do? We'll take one beaker and half of it will be filled with water. Then what we have to do after filling that beaker with half of it? We'll take a watch glass. We'll take a watch glass and keep it on the mouth of the beaker. Take a watch glass and keep it on the mouth of beaker. So what we have done, we have taken a beaker, we have filled half of it with water, then we will take a watch glass and we will keep it on the mouth of the beaker. Alright. Then next what we will do, we will put some ink on this watch glass. So what we will do, put a few drops of ink. Put a few drops of ink on watch glass. Alright, we have taken a beaker, filled with half of it water, then we keep one watch glass on the mouth of the beaker, then on that watch glass we are going to add few drops of ink to it, that is on the watch glass. After that we will start heating it. Start heating the beaker. So as we start heating the beaker, this is beaker, this is water, this is watch glass, and this is ink. What we will do? We will start heating it. This is Bunsen burner. We will take tripod stand and we will fix it on this. Then we will start heating it. As it starts heating, it is getting evaporated. Evaporation starts taking place. So we have to heat it further so that there are no changes even after heating continuously, because there is nothing to evaporate. So after evaporation stops, then we will find residue in it. What we'll find? We'll find residue in this watch glass. Is this clear? So whatever water was there, whatever water was present in the ink, it has evaporated. Only the color is left on the watch glass. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಆ ವಾಚ್ ಗ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇಂಕ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದ್ವಿ. ಇಂಕ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೀಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾಲು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇವ್ಯಾಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾಲು ಆಯಿತು. ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಪ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ರೆಸಿಡ್ಯೂ ಉಳಿದಿರ್ತದೆ. ರೆಸಿಡ್ಯೂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಏನು ಉಳಿದಿತ್ತು ಅದು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕಲರ್ ಇರ್ತದ. ಸೊ ಆ ಇಂಕ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಾಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗೋಯ್ತು, ಅದು ಇವ್ಯಾಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೂವ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ink is a mixture of water and color. So after doing this, what are the observations that we will find? We find that ink is a mixture of water and color, that is dye, dye. So this shows that ink is a mixture and it can be separated. Whatever the constituents are there in that ink, that is solute and solvent, that can be separated by a process called evaporation. Is this understood, everyone? How can we obtain colored component from blue or black ink? So that is, first we will take a beaker, then we will add half of it with water, then we will take one watch glass. On watch glass we are going to add few drops of ink, and after that we will start heating it. As the heating continues, there will be evaporation going on. Even though after heating it continuously, further we don't find any evaporation because there is nothing to evaporate from that watch glass. Remember, we are heating the ink indirectly. What we are doing? We are heating the ink indirectly. We are heating beaker. Through that beaker, watch glass is getting heat. So that ink is getting heat indirectly, not directly. So after it stops evaporating, because there is no more water content in it to evaporate, we will find residue, and that residue is nothing but colored component. Is this understood, children? Fine. The next, I think next process is known to most of you because it will be always used in the home. That is how to separate cream from milk. What you are going to do? How you are going to separate that cream from the milk? It will be centrifuged. If there is no centrifuging machine, then we will take a churner which is used to make what is that? What do you say? Buttermilk. So the people, especially in villages, they will be having a churner, right? They will be moving it through a rope. Is that fine? So through that churner, this cream also can be separated from the milk. As there is denser, whichever is having denser, that is going to stay at the bottom, and whichever is lighter is going to come at the upper layer. Sometimes what happens, there are some solid particles in liquid which can pass through the filter paper. So as it is passing through that filter paper, then there is no use of doing the process called filtration. At that point of time, instead of this filtration, this centrifuge is done, right? That is nothing but centrifugation. What is that? Centrifugation. So here actually what's happening in centrifugation or in that churner, the principle is same. Which are heavier particles, which are denser, are going to stay at the bottom, and which are lighter are going to be forced to come on the top layer of the beaker or of that equipment. So when continuously that churner is spun or that centrifugation machine works, what it is doing, which are having the denser particles are moving towards bottom and which are lighter are coming at the top of that. So this is how cream can be separated by milk, and this process is called centrifugation. And here the instrument used to make this centrifugation is, there is a machine called centrifugation machine. In case if you don't have machine, then there is a implement called churner, which we all almost use in our daily life. Then where this centrifugation is going to be used, that is applications of centrifugation, that is used in testing our blood and urine reports in diagnostics laboratories. It is used for testing blood and urine. It is even used in dairies to separate butter from cream. So used in dairies to separate butter from cream. Then apart from this, it is used even in washing machines. So in washing machine, what it is doing is, it is squeezing the water from wet clothes. So even in washing machines, it is used so that the water is squeezed from the wet clothes. So this was about applications, right? Now we will be saying next, it is separation of two immiscible liquids. So how we are going to separate the two immiscible liquids? Remember, immiscible means which is not mixing with each other, that is immiscible liquid. For example, we take water and kerosene. Assume that these two are mixed, and once they are mixed, and if we do not disturb it for a long time, it gets separated in that container itself. Water is going to come down and this kerosene is going to be on the upper part of the container, forming two different layers, right? What we will do is, we will take a separating funnel. Separating funnel. This is separating funnel. Once we take this separating funnel, we will add kerosene and water. We'll pour it. We'll pour kerosene and water to this container, that is separating funnel. This is stopcock. So once the water and kerosene are mixed here, what's going to happen is, they form a different layer once we stop disturbing it. In the initial moment, we'll pour water, then after that we'll pour kerosene. So for that 2 minutes, it seems that they are mixing. But when we stop undisturbing it, if we stop disturbing it, then what happens? As it is undisturbed, it forms two different layers, right? That layer is visible to our eyes, right? So kerosene and water are the two different layers which we are going to see in the container. So this single layer shows that the upper part is different and the below part is different. So once the layers are formed, after not disturbing it, the layers are formed. The different kerosene is in the upper part and the water is on the lower part. At that moment, what we have to do? We have to start. We have to start this stopcock so that only the water has to form in a container. As the kerosene layer is seen at the stopcock, we have to again stop it. Then we'll have water in one container and the kerosene in the separating funnel. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ಸಪ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಫನಲ್ ತೊಗೋಬೇಕು. ಆ ಸಪ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಫನಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ನೂ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ನೂ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ಹಾಕಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಅದನ್ನು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡು. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ವಾಟರ್ ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಟ್ಟೆ ಮುಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡ್ರಿ. ಲೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿ ಆನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಇಟ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಒಟ್ಟೆ ನೀವು ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡ್ರಿ. ಭಾಳ ತಾಗಿಂದ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಲೇಯರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತದೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ನೆಕೆಡ್ ಐಸ್. ಸೊ ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ ಹಾಗೂ ವಾಟರ್ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತವೆ. ನಡುವರೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಲೇಯರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಲೇಯರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗಿನ ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಲೇಯರ್ ಕೆಳಗಿಂದು ವಾಟರ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಈ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಕಾಕ್ನ ಚಾಲು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಫಾಲ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ಕಂಟೈನರ್. ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಕಂಟೈನರ್ ಇಡೋಣ, ಅದರೊಳಗೆಲ್ಲ ವಾಟರ್ ಬೀಳ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ವಾಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೀಳೋದು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ವಾಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ಇದನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ನಾವಾಗ ನಮಗೇನು ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ, ವಾಟರು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೆರೋಸಿನ್ನು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ two immiscible liquids. I think this is clearly understood, right? So we will be seeing next. And the next is applications. Applications of these immiscible liquids. Where all we can use it? One is what we have seen, kerosene and water, that is oil and water, in separation of oil and water. Then the next, it is used in the extraction of iron. It is used in the extraction of iron from its ore. The lighter slag is removed from the top by this method. So lighter slag is removed by this method, and whatever the remaining is there at the bottom, that will be of molten iron. So this is how this immiscible liquids, separation of immiscible liquids is used even in the extraction of iron from its ore. Then next we have separation of camphor and salt. Remember, camphor, it is under sublimation. What is sublimation? It is changing from solid to gaseous state. It changes directly from solid to gaseous state. That is why it is known as sublimation. It doesn't turn to liquid and then gas. No, it is moving directly from solid to gaseous state. For that, we are going to call it as sublimation. And the same process takes here in separating camphor and salt. So first, we'll take one china dish. In this china dish, there will be mixture of camphor and salt. So we'll take one china dish. In that china dish, we are going to keep mixture of camphor and salt. Then we will keep it on a tripod stand. What we will do? We will keep it on a tripod stand. Then there will be a Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner, tripod stand. On that tripod stand, what we have done? We have kept a china dish, and in that china dish, what is there? We have mixture of camphor and salt. Then what we will do? We will take funnel and we will keep it inverted. Inverted means ulta, right? So what we will do, we will take funnel and we will keep it inverted. And we will close the other end of this funnel with keeping the cotton. Are you understanding? So we'll keep one end, at the one end of that funnel. What we'll do? We'll keep one cotton, that is cotton plug, so that nothing should move out of this funnel. So after that, we'll start heating it. As we keep heating it, we'll find some layers on this funnel. Look at the board. We will find some substance which is sticking at the funnel. So that is nothing but camphor. So on supplying heat, what's happening? Whatever the camphor is mixed in this salt, that is getting evaporated and it forms some layer on the funnel. So that is our mixture, that is our camphor. So this is how camphor and salt is separated. I think you have learned this in chapter 1, that is about ammonium chloride. You have taken the same process, but I have taken here camphor and salt, there it was ammonium chloride, which is forming some layers on the funnel. So that is our camphor. Is this understood? Alright. Then the next is the dye. Is the dye in black color? Is it that single? Means is the dye in black color a single color? Whatever we are having black ink, is that black ink containing only one type of color, or does it contain more? That is the meaning of this. Is the dye in a black color a single color? So first what we have to do? We have to take a string, take a thin strip of filter paper. Take a thin strip of filter paper. What we'll do? We'll take a thin strip of this filter paper. Alright. Then what next? Then we have to draw a line. We have to draw a line so that it is 3 centimeter away from the below edge, from the bottom of the paper. From there we have to measure 3 centimeter and we have to draw line. Clear? After that drawing line, what we have to do? We have to pour, or we have to put a drop of ink on this line. Right? We took a thin strip of filter paper, then from below 3 centimeter away from the bottom we drew a line. Then on that line what we are doing? We are adding a drop of ink, or we put a drop of ink. So as we have put a drop of ink on that filter paper, now we have to take this filter paper and insert in a jar, glass jar. Assume this is glass jar, right? so that it should just touch the water. So whatever the filter paper that we have, that has to just touch the surface of water. Then after that, let it be for few minutes or few time. So the water is going to be absorbed by that filter paper. So as it is just kept above the surface of water, water slowly starts moving on the filter paper, or that filter paper is absorbing water slowly. Then you have to record your observations once it starts doing its magic. What is the magic here actually? So as you keep observing it, you will find different colors as it starts obtaining water. As it starts absorbing water, the filter paper starts absorbing water. As the water level rises on that filter paper, you will find different colors. Initially what we had done, we had put only one single drop of ink. That the ink might be of black or blue, that is different. But now, as the water level is rising, what do we find? We find there different colors on it. So what does this prove? This proves that ink is not of a single color. The blue ink or the black ink is not of single color. There water is the solvent, whereas the dye, the color is solute. Dye, this dye means color. So here ink is the solution actually. Ink is solution. So in that solution, we will be having solute as well as solvent. So solute here is color, that is dye, and solvent is water. Are you getting the point? Usually this dye is a mixture of color. What it is doing? It is soluble in water. So dye is a mixture of two or more color, and that dye is soluble in water, means it is going to dissolve in water. The color which is more soluble in water is going to rise faster here. So the color which is more soluble in water is going to rise faster than other colors, and this is how it is separated. And this is separating of colors, it's known as chromatography. So chromatography is a process where separation of ink can be done. So this, it's a process, chromatography, where separation of mixtures can be done using this type of method. And this chromatography, the word chroma is from Greek, which means color. The word chroma, which is derived from Greek, which means color. As this method was used, as this process was used for firstly for separating the components of color, that is why this process is also known as chromatography, right? That is the reason why this process is named as chromatography. You'll be seeing much about this chromatography in higher classes, right? Then where this chromatography is applicable in day-to-day life? Where this chromatography is applicable means applications of chromatography. First one, as we saw, to separate colors, right? Then the next, to separate drugs from our blood. So if a person has taken drugs, then that drugs can be separated from the blood. Then last one, it can be used for separating pigments from natural colors. All right. separation of two immiscible liquids is the dye in black ink a single color, then separating camphor and salt. Then first one, how we are going to obtain colored component from black or blue ink. I think we have studied all these 4 to 5 processes. I want you to read them carefully in the home. I keep reminding you of read textbook again and again, so please do read textbook carefully. Then homework is whatever is taught today. So I want you to write these 4 processes with neat diagram. Whatever we have studied, for example, is the dye in black ink a single color? This including diagram, it has to be explained. Then separation of camphor and salt. Then separation of two immiscible liquids. Then how can we obtain components from black ink? That also has to be explained along with the diagram, right? So keep reading textbook, then write on your own. Stay home, stay safe. See you in the next class. Thank you.